Greg Heffley was just an ordinary kid with an ordinary life, but he had a knack for getting into extraordinary situations. It was the start of summer vacation, and Greg had big plans. He wanted to spend his days playing video games, lounging around, and avoiding any form of work. But his mom had different ideas. "Greg, you need to spend more time outside," she said one morning. "Why don't you try something new and exciting this summer?" Greg groaned but knew there was no point in arguing. He decided to make the best of it and came up with a plan. "All right," he thought. "I'll try something new, but I'll make sure it's fun." That afternoon, Greg and his best friend Rowley Jefferson went to the local park. They sat on a bench brainstorming ideas. "We could start a summer business," Greg suggested. "Like a lemonade stand." Rowley nodded excitedly. "Yeah, and we can use my mom's secret recipe." The next day, Greg and Rowley set up their lemonade stand at the park. Business was slow at first, but things picked up when Rowley's mom brought over a big sign that said, "Best lemonade in town." By the end of the day, they had sold out and made a decent profit. Feeling proud of their success, Greg decided to try something else. "Let's go on a camping trip," he said. Rowley wasn't so sure, but Greg convinced him it would be an adventure. They packed their bags and headed to the woods behind Greg's house. They set up a tent, gathered firewood, and tried to start a campfire. After several failed attempts, they finally got a small fire going. Greg felt like a real outdoorsman, even though they had to use a box of matches. As the sun set, they roasted marshmallows and told spooky stories. But when it was time to sleep, the noises of the forest began to worry them. Every rustle and hoot made them jump. Greg tried to act brave, but he was just as scared as Rowley. "Maybe this wasn't such a great idea," Greg admitted. Just then they heard a loud snap, and both boys screamed. They bolted out of the tent and ran all the way back to Greg's house. When they got inside, they burst into laughter, realizing it was probably just a raccoon. Despite the scare, Greg and Rowley had a great time. They decided camping might be better with a little more preparation next time. As the summer went on, Greg found himself trying new things he never thought he would. He joined a neighborhood baseball game, went swimming at the local pool, and even helped his dad with a DIY project. Each experience taught him something new, and he started to enjoy the adventures, even if they didn't always go as planned. By the end of summer, Greg felt different. He still loved video games and lounging around, but he also appreciated the excitement of trying new things. He realized that stepping out of his comfort zone could lead to fun and memorable experiences. On the last day of vacation, Greg sat down to write in his diary. "This summer turned out to be pretty awesome," he wrote. "I learned that sometimes the best adventures are the ones you didn't plan." With that, Greg closed his diary, ready for whatever the next school year would bring. He knew there would always be more challenges and more adventures, and he couldn't wait to face them head-on.